Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Got a very exciting display of weather information for you today. This may be one of those that you want to share with your friends because you didn't hear it anywhere else. I learned it from Captain Accurate. Well, I actually like to just show you what's out there so you can kind of take all of it into stock. But let me show you. Talk about Weigel's fuel and food that's fast, fresh, and friendly. Our friends at Weigel's have the awesome eggnog, which I just bought a half gallon on Saturday, I might add. The all-time classic Tennessee favorite eggnog is back. It's back for the holidays, which you gotta love because, again, the eggnog is so yummy and rich and creamy. You might want to pick up maybe one bottle. Pick up two. You could pick up a couple of pints. I picked up the half gallon. It's just delicious. It's probably the second half gallon I've gone through since Thanksgiving. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Check them out, of course. We're talking about Weigel's eggnog. It is back, and I'm very happy to have them as our sponsor. Got to talk about the weather, though. It's interesting to note when we talk about the temperature. That's part of the story today. We're going to be in the low 50s for the most part today. Some may make it to the mid 50s, but currently it's 40 degrees in Knoxville. It's 39 degrees in Oak Ridge, and over here in Morristown, it's 41 degrees. So we've got temperatures generally in the upper 30s to near 40. We have a little bit of a wind, just 5 miles per hour. Still a lot of calm winds with all those zeros, which is why the wind chill isn't much of a factor right now. 37 is how it feels as you step outside here at 6:41 in the morning. Now, the bigger picture, talking about some snow. We're talking about snow in the Smokies tonight. And if you're traveling to North Carolina during the next 24 hours, this is probably what you want to know. You want to know that snow's coming. They've had quite a bit, I should say, across the Rockies. Now the Smokies are going to participate, maybe not to the tune of 69 or 33 inches in some cases. The higher terrain out toward the out west has picked up quite a bit. They've picked up over a couple of feet in parts of New England and maybe a couple of inches in parts of the Midwest. But it's interesting to note that we're expecting anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. I think 2 to 4 in the higher terrain, especially above 2,500 feet. This is important information to know, especially if you have to travel to the Biltmore, for example, to enjoy some of the Christmas lights. Some folks like to do that. And when you look at some of these areas, it's going to be highly localized. A lot of this will come down as rain in the valley. Even some of the projections here of 0.8 and an inch in parts of Blount County near Maryville might be overstated. But I will say, if you're above 2,500 feet, you have a good chance you could get 1 to 3 inches. But if you're above 4,000 feet, you could be 3, 4, 5. It's possible. Anything's possible. I mean, the pictures that usually come out of Mount LeConte are very telling. Very telling. And you might be scratching your head going, well, I'm not sure how high I am. Well, I'm going to give you some elevations. But the winter weather advisories have already been issued from our friends at the National Weather Service. This will start, it will commence at 10 o'clock tonight. But notice it doesn't end at like sunrise. It keeps going past lunchtime. It's even to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Well, no wonder they're going to pick up multiple inches of snow. So if you're not a believer that, oh, it's not going to snow, that weather guy, well, the Weather Service also concurs with what I'm sharing with you. So I expect winter will be certainly on full display for great pictures when it's nice and sunny on Thursday, where you'll say, hey, those snow-capped mountains make for great photographs. I can make a Christmas card. You could do that. You could do that. But if you're on the call, just want to say good morning to you. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I see Fred over here. He says, good morning, David. Grabbing his Weigel's coffee. Glad to see you there, Fred. Happy to have you here. And I'm also on YouTube. And I want to just get back to the winter weather advisory. If you're just joining me, we're going to expect, again, 1 to 3 inches in most places above 2,500 feet. But if you're above 4,000 feet, well, then it becomes more of 4 inches plus. Because if you look at the elevations, you're looking at Chimney Tops, Mount LeConte, most of these locations are going to see some hefty amounts because they're at 4, 5, 6,000 feet. That's well up into the sky. But if you're in places like Knoxville, forget about it. You're less than 1,000 feet. It's a wish list. You say, hey, I want snow. Get in the car and drive. It's a road trip. It's a road trip mountain snow for those of you that like it. And if you like Ober-Gatlinburg, well, they're over 3,300 feet, so they're more likely to get more snow than just regular Gatlinburg, right? Pigeon Forge is around 1,000. So this is not a factor. It's going to be above 2,500 feet, and I think the 4-inch plus will be above 4,000 feet. So that's just gives you some perspective. Everything is relative. So if you're driving into the Smokies and into North Carolina tomorrow, you might want to check the forecast, which you're doing right now. Make sure your gas tank's filled up. Let someone else know where you are and pack the emergency supply kit. This is one of those kits that's nice to have all winter long. and you might want to avoid travel because they might close some of those roads up there. If you're stranded, you might want to remain in your vehicle. Well, what do I need? What do I need? Just remind me, what could I pack in my car that could be of help? Here are some suggestions. Here's some suggestions I think you might like. For one, batteries, maybe a phone charger, flashlight, first aid kit, maybe an extra tire, snacks. Oh, I like snacks. Oh, I like snacks from Weigel's especially. Pack them up. Maybe some kitty litter. Not because you're taking your cat with you, but it could give you some traction in the ice and snow. So when you're talking about snow, this winter, winter supply checklist can also be very helpful. Just wanted to throw that out there and say good morning to you once again. I'm also, as I mentioned, not only on Facebook, but I'm also on YouTube, so I'm checking that as well. But just wanted to give you that list so you'll have it and know what's going on in terms of the weather. I'm looking over here and see some comments. If there are any comments on Facebook, on YouTube, let me know. And we'll see how, oh, there it is, a couple of, I'm over here, on YouTube. I got Steve Stone. He's got the good morning with a happy face. Good to see Steve here. He's on YouTube. And Needed97 says, good morning, David. Glad to have Needed97 on here. And if we pop back over to Facebook, I know there's some new comments that have been popping up over here. There's my cursor. There it is. Oh, Esther says, good morning, David. She's got 39 degrees in Washburn. Washburn's 39 degrees. Have a great day, she says. Connie Rogers, good morning. Hope your day is blessed. Thank you very much for being here, Connie. And Janet says it's that time of year for the cold, flaky stuff. She says it's great advice for the carless. Thank you, David. And Wanda says some of that snow can come her way. She's excited. Wanda, if you just get in your car tomorrow afternoon, certainly tomorrow afternoon, it will have been snowing most of the night. And we're going to illustrate that with Futurecast here in mere moments. All right, 6:46. My goal is to be done before 7 o'clock, right at 7. All those green counties, not the famous color of green like rain, that's actually freezing fog advisory. So if you're around Cape Girardeau, you got family there, Evansville, they've got freezing fog advisories to about 7 o'clock Central Time. Regular fog in Bowling Green and Clarksville. And then we've got the winter weather advisories here in the Smokies. Nothing going on in terms of rain to the south. Pretty quiet, perhaps, to the far north, although some snow is falling, to be fair, in Chicagoland and Milwaukee and moving across parts of Michigan. So we're keeping a watchful eye on that. Have I mentioned the eggnog is back? Oh, it's delicious. It's the all-time Tennessee favorite, and it's back until what? Till early next year, and then it's gone. You got to take it when you grab it when you can. I love it because you might want to stock up. It's back, Tennessee's favorite eggnog, and if you are an eggnog favorite, you're new to the area, you got to try Weigel's. It's the only one around that's really, I mean, it's the best, and that's the key. So pick up maybe a pint, pick up maybe a half gallon like I have. It's just better when it's fresh. Farm to store, 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. There's nobody around here that would dispute it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows, because it is. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. But the eggnog is back. I want you to make sure you pick up a bottle today and support my sponsor. Tell them Captain Accurate sent you. By the way, as we look from the snow in Chicago, it's dry here, and I expect rain showers to develop tonight for the valley. But eventually, I think this is a great little tutorial, is what is black ice? It's that very thin layer of ice that accumulates on pavement. You say, oh, I knew that. Did you know there are 3 ways, primary ways, that black ice forms? Well, I didn't know about that. Okay, well, let's get to that, because it's really fun to know, hey, I learned something. I love to learn. I hate to be taught, but I love to learn. And look at this. When the temperature is less than 32 degrees, which it will be in the Smokies, there will be areas when the skies get clear that snow melts during the day, and that turns ice at night. That's probably one of the more common ways, but there's also when it's raining. Oh, yeah, if the roads are actually around 32 or colder, it can freeze on contact. We think of that as freezing rain. What a nightmare. But it also can make a whoopsie and cause you to fall. But number 3 is probably less thought of as a big problem, but when it's foggy, like it is in, say, Bowling Green this morning, when water droplets, or perhaps maybe Cape Girardeau, because they're freezing fog this morning, some of that could actually stick on the roads and bridges and overpasses. So you have 3 conditions, but fog may be the least understood or maybe recognized. But these are 3 distinct ways that black ice can form in winter. So clear skies, light rain, and fog. I just thought that would be a nice little tutorial, or if anything else, just a reminder that things are going to change dramatically for the Smokies. And many of us like to hang out in the Smokies. I was going to say, do some recreation in the Smokies. Why not? By the way, temperature right now, no concern for black ice this morning. We've got 40. in Knoxville, 41 Maryville and Morristown, 39 in Oak Ridge, Jacksboro, 40 degrees in Crossville in the heart of Cumberland County. That's our temperature as of the 6 o'clock hour, and it's now 6:50 in the morning. Got 10 minutes to go. By the way, 24-hour temperature change can vary whether it's 3 degrees colder or 3 degrees warmer. Like Jamestown, there is some variability just in the last 24 hours at the 6 o'clock hour. That's what that represents. And you can see it's cold, maybe back toward Jackson, Tennessee. They're freezing, and it's 38 right now in Paducah, 35 in Nashville. That's our current reading at the moment. Now, last night, the clouds kind of really rolled in, and those clouds are going to be with us at least to start. So think of today as clouds to sun, and then by probably closer to 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, some of those raindrops will start to drop down from Kentucky. So you're going to start to notice the clouds are thickening tonight, and some rain showers can be expected for the valley. But once we get well past dark, then it gets really interesting for the Smokies because they're already and will be significantly colder. Some of those raindrops you see moving across northern Kentucky, just north of Lexington, will stay there for now. But we'll see some of these clouds at least linger on this morning. By the way, that should not say Monday. That should say today. Oh, yes, today, 7:31, sunset at 5:22. I forgot to update that one little banner. You'll have to forgive me, but the times are correct. And the bus stop forecast starts off with lots of clouds, but we struggle to get to 52 by 2 o'clock. And with a finishing point of 54, that's pretty close to the average. The average high this time of year is 53. So we're probably on what would be argued as a typical December 5th day. 49 for a high in Oneida. That's my expectation. If you're in Newport, 55. 51 in Morristown, 54 in Maryville. Those are our high temperatures I expect today. By the way, with all that rain we got over the weekend, you notice that little donut hole around Knoxville? We are not, in the last 30 days, we don't have a deficit, because we've had about 2.5 inches of rain fall over the weekend. And the average for the whole month of December is 5. 5 inches, we've had over half of the monthly total just in the first 3 or 4 days. That's why the deficit doesn't look that bad in Knoxville. Now, there may be some other dry areas in green, which represent about 1 to 2 inches below. But we're certainly still into the drought. This is just over the 30-day period, given the fact that the rain came down in buckets. And I do expect another rainy day coming in on Sunday. Oh, Sunday. I mean, like this Sunday could be one of those days, like 2 weekends in a row, you're going to go, why? And some of you are going to say, I've been praying for this. So it's going to come in maybe on the weekend, which I have no control over, just the messenger. But you'll notice 5 inches for December is normal. Why be normal? We've already had 2.71 at McGee-Tyson Airport. But if you look at the 3 previous months, we've been well below average, and that's been part of the problem. So I want to say good morning to you. If you're on the call, I've got some other interesting facts and figures I want to share with you. One is this, David, what is the temperature? It could snow. It has more to do with what's upstairs than it is down below. It's cold enough to see your breath. You can start seeing your breath when it's about 42 degrees, 45 degrees. You can start seeing your breath. So interesting note. Ashley sending me some stars. You're very kind. Thank you, Ashley. Ed says, good morning. Where are we with the drought? Still in a drought, still under an extreme drought. And we're still about 3.5 inches below normal for the year. So when I go back to this graphic here, which I could do right here, you can see we now have 2.71, and that we've done that in the first 3 or 4 days of December. So we're over half of the whole month. But we've got more opportunities for some heavy rains coming in this Sunday, which we'll highlight here in the 7-day. Headlines, clouds to sun today. It's cool. Rain showers tonight for Knoxville. That's the headline. People hear snow, and they go, I thought we were getting snow. No, the mountains are getting snow. Let me be clear. There will be some southern systems this winter when we can all participate. It'll be an equal opportunity snow. But this one is primarily for the Smokies, which we've already highlighted the winter weather advisories for the higher terrain. Mountain snows tonight are a shoo-in, so if you like to see the white-covered mountains, this is your time. The next 12 to 24 hours will be fun to watch. By the way, look how this is like the tide. It goes in and it goes out. The cold air at 5,000 feet just pours down, because by about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, it is snowing very, very well in the Smokies. You may say, why? Look at the flow of air. Look at those blue arrows. They're just going right from Indiana, Chicago, headed right to the Smokies and hitting the higher terrain. No wonder they're going to get some upslope. They're going to get the winds in the air rising, and they're going to squeeze out a lot of flakes. That's why I said 2 to 4 plus. There's going to be a big plus for places like Clingman's Dome, Mount LeConte. But look at the flow of air. That's at 5,000 feet. Now, this will begin to retreat We'll start to see another warm-up coming in later this week. You can see the warm colors in green. Ah, yes. Ah, so the cold air disappears. Aha! If you're on Team Spring, you might like the fact by Friday it starts to warm up and into, say, Saturday when we're in the 60s. I knew this winter was a dud, some of you may think, but then just give it another day or two and then voila, it comes back. The cold air, it locks and reloads. It's just going to keep doing this. As I said, very little consistency in December. If we get consistency in January, it's going to be because it's always cold. Oh, no, you didn't just say that. I did. So back and forth in December, then more like consistently cold as we head into January. That's my expectation. That doesn't mean we couldn't get a pullback, but this is the way it seemingly is developing over the next couple of weeks. Right now, it's 40 degrees at the airport. McGee Tyson, a 5-mile-an-hour wind makes it feel like it's 37 degrees with the wind chill. And at 6:55, I'll be done here in 5 minutes. Valley Planner, you'll notice we get up to about 54 today. Clouds give way to sunshine, if not partly sunny. And I'd say by the time we hit 5 or 6 or 7, some raindrops will start to form and drop down from the north. That'll help actually turn into some snow for our friends in the Smokies. Precipitation chances for tomorrow, 30%. There'll be some drops here, possibly more mountain snowflakes. Not possibly, but a good chance. But there's a 30% chance of precipitation if you're in the valley, which is really at the top of the banner. And it says Knoxville, 30% tomorrow. 20% Saturday, and then it's an 80% chance. It's a super soaker on Sunday. If the trends are correct, and I'm seeing a little bit of a trend, that this thing is probably going to be waning probably after 3 p.m. Sunday. So it's like raining hard Saturday night. It's raining hard Saturday morning, or excuse me, Saturday night, Sunday morning, midday Sunday, church lets out. You're going to want the umbrella, and probably till about 3 p.m. because then it'll start to race out of here, and then we'll see some colder air wrap around in time for Monday. As the cold air comes back, I've got a 30% chance Monday for some wet snow showers or flurries, even in the valley. All right, Storm Prediction Center. Not a whole lot to see here, but it's worth covering because this time of year, you just never know if you're going to have another second season for severe weather. That does not appear by the eyes of the Storm Prediction Center to find any precipitation of severity. No severe storms, I should say, for today. Tomorrow, there may be some hot spots, if you want to call it that, around the state of Oregon, Northern California. They might get some general thunderstorms on Wednesday, and then the same situation on Thursday. A couple of spots in Oregon out to the far north and west, the Pacific Northwest, but always quiet here in terms of severe weather. No threat whatsoever in the short term. So as far as the futurecast, this is very telling. There's a cold front coming into town. There's 12 noon today. By that point, the sun's breaking out, and then eventually the rain drops. Even though the sun pops out briefly, it starts to cloud back up and some drizzle. Maybe greeting some of you at 5 p.m. today. Then it starts to rain very lightly, 7 o'clock. Oh, I like the timeline. Look at that, 9 o'clock, some snowflakes. And maybe places like Klingman's Dome, Newfound Gap. And it just continues on like this. Here's 4:45 in the morning. Boy, it's snowing very well. Might even see, as I think, the classic horseshoe effect, don't you think? I see that very well. That's 5:45 tomorrow morning, almost 6 o'clock, 7. Now, there's for sure the horseshoe. That's a ringer, right? It might be flaking in Oneida or La Follette and also into parts of southeastern sections of Kentucky during the early time of this time tomorrow morning. So we want to watch that very closely. But that's 6:45 tomorrow. There's 7:30. Oh, it's still snowing. That wind is still affecting areas in the Smokies tomorrow at this time, even beyond, as I see a couple of the notes there with the snow coming down into play. Oh, and look at that, 12 noon tomorrow. Oh, that means Oneida could be in for some snowflakes. Don't be surprised. Could be very well affecting Oneida and southeast Kentucky by midday tomorrow. And then eventually it works its way out of the picture. I want to say good morning to you again. I got on YouTube. I see Marilyn Bell. She says, whoa, snow. And Felicia's Crafty Adventure says, good morning. And Marilyn says, I'm hoping for lots of snow. Just be safe, everyone. Especially have a plan for power loss. That's a good point, especially given the fact that we've had a very interesting, or maybe an interesting fall that was so dry. Mother Nature tends to make up for that and can make it up over time. Michelle Green says, Hubbard, good morning. She's one of my premium members on Facebook. And Wanda says she likes the pictures I took yesterday in Harrogate. I'd love for you all to check out. If you haven't seen those pictures, they're available to see. Took about 80 pictures yesterday in Claiborne County in Harrogate. What a great place. Of course, LMU is a special place, too. Had a chance to see it toward the campus like I had not seen before. By the way, 4 o'clock tomorrow, nothing but sunshine. It's a beautiful day. Then we start the warm-up process, and every couple of days, it's going to change. All right, it is 6:59, getting through the last of the Futurecast. You can see how the clouds are breaking at noontime today. From south to north, they start to slide away, and then the sun's out 3:30, and that's when we'll likely hit our high of 54 degrees Knoxville. By later tonight, the rain starts to reappear. Ooh, there it comes. And then it starts to move into the snow pattern for the higher terrain, and it starts to pile up as it will continue to fill in. As you can see from the other model, it'll linger there a lot longer. Temperatures tomorrow, only 46. So if you think today's cool with a gust of wind today about 25 and southwest winds 5 to 15, tomorrow's going to be very cold, and then it's down to 27, where we might find some black ice in the Smokies come Thursday morning. For today, 54 your high, clouds of sun. There are the winds, 5 to 15, gusting to around 25 miles per hour. It's now 7 o'clock. 54 for Oak Ridge, Maryville, Alcoa. About 51 for Morristown, Talbot, as well as, say, Russellville. 55 for Dandridge, Newport, Jeff City. About 56 for Kingston, Rockwood today. 56 for Nashville. 48 for Jackson. And tonight, we're looking for lows around 37 degrees with clouds and some showers. And the key word, mountain snows. But I don't live in the mountains. Then you don't have nothing to worry about. 32 in Wartburg. 32 for a low temperature tonight in, say, Oneida. Looking for lows in Knoxville, about 37. 36 Morristown. That's his representation of the overnight period. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. As you'll notice, the mountains, I believe, will get 2 to 4 plus. And again, it's really contingent on that magic number. If you're over 2,500 feet, possibly 1 to 3. If you're over 4,000 feet, it's 4 plus. It's going to be way more than 4 for places like Clingman's Dome, Mount LeConte, and there'll be a spotter up there. The Mount LeConte manager will take pictures, I'm sure, and share it with those of us. Let us know how much they received. But the cold air really is felt on Thursday morning because we're down to 27. Then we're warming up into the 60s by Saturday, if not nudging it on Friday. But boy, does it turn soggy going into the period there on, say, Sunday. So we'll have some of this move out, and then maybe we'll come back around on Monday morning with some wet snowflakes. We'll have to wait and see. By the way, I want to thank you all for your notes. Lana Johnson's on the call. She's saying hello. Burr, she says, it's cold and clear in Kodak. She's got 2 cups of Weigel's coffee. Love it. Have a great day. And I talked about Michelle and Wanda and Felicia. Felicia says, hoping for a mostly dry weekend for all the events and parades on Saturday. Felicia, thank you for that. And certainly we'll keep you posted as we get a little bit closer to that special time. Anyway, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. And by the way, if you want to leave out, eggnog is back. Make sure you pick up a bottle. It's yummy, rich, and creamy. It's Tennessee's favorite eggnog. As we all know, eggnog is delicious this time of year. Of course, you can always pick up some of their hot coffee, as Fred was talking about, and maybe it's just some plain old, just regular milk and chocolate milk. They have delicious staples here in East Tennessee. In fact, the eggnog is the holiday staple here in East Tennessee, the beautiful, delicious eggnog. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.